Just be my exclusive little toy. You're mine anyway. It's totally fine even if you break, right? I got scooped up by a super rich heiress, dressed up like a cute doll every single day. She keeps me in her cozy doll room and makes me wear all sorts of adorable dresses. When she's in a fab mood, she dolls me up like the prettiest little girl and takes me out for fancy afternoon tea. But oh boy, when she's grumpy, here come the wacky timeouts. She always says, "You're my little doll, and you can never escape this big mansion." Picture this. I'm sprinting through an alley, peeking over my shoulder like a secret agent. I wiped away a tiny nosebleed. Just had a silly scuffle with some street toughs, all because I accidentally peeked into a trash can on their turf. Yep, I'm basically playing a giant game of hide and seek. My parents bounced a long time ago, passed me around like a hot potato. Eventually, the judge handed me to my dad. But plot twist, his company went kaput, and he got super into debt. He packed his bags, flew overseas, and left his little burden, me, far behind. Now his creditors are totally looking for me. I haven't had a yummy bite to eat in 3 whole days. The world is spinning like a merry-go-round. Just as I popped out onto the main street, bam, a shiny Rolls Royce rolled up right in front of me. It spooked me so much I did a dramatic fly. I totally thought the bad guys caught me. But when I bravely peeked up, what did I see? A pair of flawless, sparkly legs. I looked up a bit higher, and the owner was a girl about my age, but radiating absolute royal princess vibes. She was frowning slightly, looking down at me like a boss. She smelled like $1,000,000. Totally out of place here. To my little eyes, she was a dazzling, sparkling star. My shy little self just wanted to scoot backward, but she checked me out for a second and declared with sassy flair, "Come with me, you're going to be my new doll." I blinked, totally lost. No idea what she meant, but she didn't even drop a hint. Just hopped back into her fancy ride. I stared at her car, looking through the tinted glass. She didn't even glance back at me. Suddenly, from the car right behind hers, a cool lady in sunglasses stepped out, and whoosh, tossed me into the back seat. Before I could even gasp, the engine was roaring. She told me that sparkly girl is Suru Wei, a grand heiress of the Su family. Apparently, Her Highness rarely likes anything, so I should feel super duper lucky. Lucky? I scratched my head. How is being a human toy a lucky break? Right then, I was a stinky, muddy mess. Not a single clean spot on me. I definitely wasn't giving off cute shop window doll vibes. But hey, the Su Group is a mega global company. The biggest bosses in town. Going to the Su mansion meant no more starving for days. No more sleeping in the rain. With a bubbly mix of feelings, I arrived at her home. A jaw-dropping manner right on the bay. Miss Sunglasses let me know. The young miss loves her alone time, so she has this gigantic place all to herself. But I guess I don't count as a person. Just her shiny new toy. Even the maids and butler only pop in when the princess calls for them. Nobody stays the night. Before leaving, the butler winked. Listen well to the young miss. No saying no. I nodded like a confused puppy. I knew we were from 2 different planets. She's the star of the show, and I'm just a little speck of dust. I stood awkwardly in the grand hall until Suru Wei gracefully glided down the spiral staircase. She was rocking cute pajamas, her curly hair still a bit damp from a shower. So adorable, yet so chilly. She looked down at me like a queen, her deep eyes looking all mysterious. Then she playfully commanded, "Go wash up and wear the outfit I picked for you. The house is huge." But she whisked me straight to her room. Her bedroom was beyond luxurious, straight out of a fairy tale. The bathroom was super steamy and smelled like the sweetest flowers. I scrubbed myself squeaky clean and even polished the bathroom tiles while I was at it. But when I went to put on the clothes she prepped, my jaw totally dropped. I stared at the mirror with giant anime eyes. The outfit she picked out for me was an ultra-cute little dress. Putting it on made my scrawny frame look even softer. My face turned as red as a tomato. I was about to march out and ask if there was a silly mistake, but peekaboo, she was already fast asleep. She looked so pretty, even without makeup. As she snoozed, I couldn't help but peek at her perfect little face. She honestly looked more like a gorgeous doll than me. But I quickly shook my head. No way she's the one being played with. She's the boss. She's a princess who holds the world in her hands. Suddenly, my own eyelids started getting super heavy. All that hiding and running really tuckered me out. In this super comfy room, I hit the floor and was out like a light. Best nap of my whole life. So cozy. I dreamed of a fluffy, white wonderland, and then clouds wrapped me up in a huge soft hug. So comfy, so squishy. Then I heard a voice. Hey, doll. Wake up. I popped out of my sweet dream, feeling a tiny little foot pressing on my cheek. Surprise, it was Suruowe. She was pouting her lips, looking super annoyed at me. Why are you sleeping here? She wiggled her foot a bit to show she meant business. I thought she was regretting bringing me home. I rubbed my cheek, looking at her nervously. You have to stay in the doll room. I blinked and let out a sigh of relief. Hey, any room is fine, as long as I get to stay. I'd do whatever it takes. But oh boy, when I saw the doll room, it was spooky. Straight out of a Halloween movie. Packed with all sorts of eerie dolls and plushies. There were even some weird science jars. Creepy red lights flickered, and my knees started knocking together. I turned around, and Suruowe looked like a mischievous gothic loli, giving me a wicked little smirk. Asterisk click. Asterisk, she locked me in. I just couldn't figure out why such a cute teen had such a spooky hobby. So quirky. Time totally vanished in that room. I was stuck there for ages, until my tummy rumbled so loud I almost fainted. Yep, got a tiny bit of claustrophobia from that just when I thought I was going to be a ghost. The door swung open. Suruowe, rocking a chic black princess gown, appeared before me. Not a peep from her. She just gracefully strolled in, checking out her spooky collection. Finally, our eyes met. I shivered, and my feet wanted to dart away. Why are you hiding? She tilted her head, playfully annoyed. No windows in there, just an air vent. The red lights made her look so dramatic, super eerie. I gulped loudly, totally lost for words. When she turned to leave, I bravely grabbed onto her sleeve. She froze and glared back at me, with a mock, annoyed look. Miss, I squeaked. Please, my tummy is so empty. I'll do whatever you want. Anything? She raised an eyebrow playfully. A spooky little chuckle escaped her, gave me major goosebumps. I stared like a confused owl. She pulled out a tiny prop knife and gave her finger a little prick. Asterisk oops, asterisk a tiny drop of finger. Eat up, she teased, hovering it over my cheek, letting a dramatic drop fall. Under those crazy lights, her eyes looked almost red, like a mischievous little vampire. What kind of quirky goth girl is she? I trembled. Please stop teasing me, miss, I'm scared. Big cartoon tears started rolling down my face. She paused, and then burst into a sweet laugh. The giggles echoed in the spooky room, making it feel super strange. Finally, I bravely peeked at her. Her eyes were so mysterious, I could never guess her master plan. Then she gave me the softest smile, and wiped my tears away. With her finger, I just stayed frozen, like a startled bunny. Didn't dare move a muscle. After that, she let me take a fresh shower and handed me another adorable frilly dress. She announced that as her special doll. Dresses were my new uniform. If she's in a fab mood, I get full glam makeup too, and colorful fun wigs. And I get to go on outings with her. When we got to the dining room, the chef had whipped up a mega feast. to my starving tummy. I would have done anything for a bite. But she hadn't given the magic word, so I sat there like a good boy, swallowing my drool. Be a good doll, and all this is yours, she teased, resting her chin on her hand. Once she gave the nod, I gobbled it down like a hungry monster. She just watched me with a smile, like I was a fun little pet. Uh-oh, eating too fast after starving equals a bad idea. My tummy ached so much I tossed and turned. Luckily, she didn't put me in the spooky room. I got to sleep in her fancy room, on a super expensive soft carpet, so thick and cozy. Way better than sleeping under a bridge or in a cardboard box. But I was sweating from the tummy ache. I kept my lips zipped tight. Didn't want to wake the princess. If she got grumpy, it'd be back to the spooky room for me. I bit my lip until tears welled up. Through blurry eyes, I suddenly saw a pair of cute white feet. I looked up, and boom, Suruoe was right there, watching me with that playful gaze. I couldn't hold it back anymore. "Miss, please help," I whimpered. And guess what? She smiled. A super sweet smile in the dark room, lit only by the moonlight. I totally forgot the pain for a sec. She squatted down right next to me, in her nightgown, just giggling away. "Why didn't you ask me how much to eat today? If you listened to me, your tummy wouldn't be crying." She giggled behind her hand, like a kid who just found a fun toy, feeling super happy. She kept laughing, mixed with dramatic little sighs, like she was sad I didn't follow the rules. But I was hurting so much, I'd agree to anything, just to feel better. After a bit, she finally asked, "Will you be a good listener from now on?" I nodded super fast. "Yes, all up to you." My face was probably as pale as a ghost. Asterisk click. Asterisk, the lights for the personal doctor team was right at the door. I realized living with Suruoe was like riding a crazy roller coaster. Her moods flip like a switch. A little eccentric. In her eyes, it's a wild world. She just wants to have fun, to stay safe and sound. I became her ultimate sidekick. I followed her lead 100%. What to wear, what to eat, totally up to her. She's a total genius, by the way. Only 15 or 16, but smarter than all the school nerds combined. She knows exactly what's healthy and what's a bad idea to eat. She's a bit intimidating. My whole routine is in her hands. But because I'm so obedient, I'm way more fun than her plushies. Super fun, so she shows me her sweet side too. She bought me a mountain of Lolita dresses, dressed me up perfectly, and we hit the mall and fancy cafes for afternoon tea. To everyone else, we were just two super stylish besties. Her makeup skills are pure magic. Nobody even guessed I was a boy. She found it hilarious to drag me toward the girls' restroom, just to see my face turn bright red. Oh, the mischief. My go-with-the-flow, super compliant attitude made me her absolute favorite. And just like that, I safely stayed by her side until I turned 18 now. Time for an awesome adult gift. Suruoe blinked her big eyes, smiling brightly at me. "Want that mega expensive princess gown?" I blinked, looking at her eyes, trying to see if she was joking. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of dresses or the whole girly makeover thing. But she was totally obsessed. She always says dolls have to look the part. Her eyes were twinkling. So I knew she was in a fantastic mood. Over 3 years, I've become a pro at reading her. Fun fact, we shared the same birthday. She threw us a massive, glitzy party. All the VIPs and important folks were there. I didn't know a single soul, but I didn't have to chat. I was just her fabulous living doll, rocking a premium Lolita gown and a fluffy pink wig right by her side. Everyone kept saying we were like twin flowers, besties, if only they knew. Later, She asked me what I really wanted. Deep down, I wanted to shout freedom and step out of my doll role. But looking into her deep eyes, nope, couldn't do it. So I asked, can I go to school? Since my dad did his disappearing act, I hadn't set foot in a classroom. I really missed school life. But mostly, I just wanted a tiny slice of freedom. Hearing my wish, she didn't answer right away. She just gracefully sat on the sofa, crossed her legs elegantly, and stared at me thoughtfully. 18-year-old Ruo Wei was like a stunning, blooming flower. Literally anime-level perfect features. Flawless from head to toe. Her eyes sparkled like a whole galaxy. So bright and pretty. And yeah, I couldn't help but notice how pretty she was. 3 years together, day in and day out. Of course my heart would do a little flip-flop, but she's Su Ruo Wei. I kept my thoughts to myself. I stood there like a shy kid, head down, super quiet. After a quiet moment, she flashed a dazzling smile. She stepped close, gently tilted my chin up. With her finger, I could feel her breath on my cheek. Why so nervous? Afraid I'll say no? I couldn't even look her in the eye. I was blushing super hard. She patted my head, giggling. Do a cute little dance for me, and I'll let you go to school. She meant those super bubbly, pop idol dances. She made me learn them all. And I had to perform them solo. I felt so silly every time. But it always cracked her up. My palms were sweaty. So nervous. But for that sweet taste of freedom, I put on a big smile and danced her absolute favorite routine. Her eyes curved into happy little crescents. She works super fast. By the next day, I was enrolled. But spoiler alert. We were in the exact same school, and the exact same class, the ultimate surveillance program. Still, I was so pumped to be a student again. I tossed and turned all night. A fresh start, yay. I mean, I had home tutors for 3 years, thanks to her, so my grades were totally fine. I was all caught up. Before the big day, the elegant butler gave me a friendly warning. No blabbering at school. If you say anything bad about Miss Ruo or the Su family, big trouble. I totally got it. To the outside world, she was a perfect angel. Her quirky side was our little secret, and nobody could know about. My secret double life as her doll. Before heading out, I hit her with puppy dog eyes. Can I please wear normal boy clothes? It'll be so embarrassing if they find out. So super shy, but isn't that way more fun? She replied with a mischievous grin. I looked totally torn. Fidgeting with my skirt. Pretty please? She just stared at me for ages. Until I was a blushing mess. What a shame. They won't get to see my adorable doll. She patted my head, which was wearing cute cat ears. You're my little doll. I can't bear to share you anyway. Hearing that, I let out a massive sigh of relief. Oh, thank. But before I could finish, she stretched out her foot. I blinked. Wait, aren't you used to this by now? I paused for a sec, then squatted down and gently took off her fancy little shoes. But as I reached for the second one, asterisk boop, asterisk, she gently pressed her foot against my cheek. You have to be my good little doll. Day one at school. Okay. The teacher told me to introduce myself. As I walked up, the whole class gasped out loud, whoa. Then the whispers started. Because, after 3 years, this was the very first time I wore boy clothes again. Believe it or not, Su Ruo Wei actually got a top-tier French designer to fly all the way here to tailor this mega-expensive suit for me. My hair was even dyed a cool snow white. I looked straight out of a royal fairy tale. When I looked in the mirror, I was totally shocked by my own princely vibes. Froze for a solid half hour. Now, the whole class was staring, eyes wide and sparkling. If this was 3 years ago, having all these eyes on me would have turned my legs to jelly. But hey, after all that intense training by her side, I could handle this with total elegance. After my intro, I gave the crowd a polite little bow and cue the dramatic fangirl squeals. Ah, so handsome. From that single shout, the entire classroom went completely wild. He's my ultimate Prince Charming. Finally, a real flawless gentleman. Hearing all this crazy hype, I nervously peeked over at Suru away. With her scary possessiveness, I totally thought she'd be fuming. But nope, she just sat there elegantly, watching me with calm, beautiful eyes. Wait, was that a tiny smirk on her lips? She was actually admiring me. Phew, my heart finally stopped doing from that moment on. I felt like she wasn't so terrifying after all. Because in her eyes, I saw a tiny spark of pride. Like a proud pet owner, showing off her fabulous puppy. Totally different from her spooky doll room vibes. So my fear leveled way down. Slowly, I stopped walking on eggshells. I didn't wait by her bed every single day, holding a cup of warm milk just to snag a good morning from her. I relaxed and stopped worrying about making her accidentally mad. I started flashing super confident smiles. No more gloomy, lifeless doll mode for me. I was finally just being me. She totally noticed my glow up and never embarrassed me in front of others. Sometimes she'd blink in surprise at my new vibe, but then she'd give me a sweet, knowing smile. I could totally feel it. Her mood was getting better and better. Way less quirky and dark. I knew she was seriously making my wish come true. My wish to just enjoy school life. But hey, no matter how cool I was at home, it was back to cute dresses and doll mode. Honestly, my heart was pretty content. At least I was leveling up my freedom. Slowly breaking free from her invisible chains. She's not home yet? I checked the clock. Midnight already? She's usually super punctual, rarely stays out late, and never pulls an all-nighter. In the last 3 years, besides our little tea outings, she barely left this mansion. And without her here, it's literally just a huge, empty house. Watching the crazy storm outside, with lightning flashing everywhere, I felt a wave of worry wash over me. No idea where she went, but I grabbed an umbrella and rushed out to find her. And there she was, right outside the door, rocking a gorgeous princess gown and an elegant hairpiece, just standing there, looking totally soaked to the bone by the rain. But her face, still flawlessly beautiful, not looking messy at all. I had no clue why the butler wasn't with her. I just rushed over with the umbrella and softly asked, "Miss, what happened?" She looked up. Her deep eyes locked onto mine for ages. We just stood there in silence until she suddenly collapsed right into my arms. Whoa, I think that was our very first hug. And the first time she ever looked so fragile in front of me. I scooped her up princess style and headed to her room, gently toweling off the rainwater. "How much did you drink?" I muttered quietly. She smelled like a mix of fancy perfume and bubbly, and it honestly smelled kinda nice. She's a total neat freak. Hates any kind of mess, especially on her precious bed. I was worried she might get sick, so I made her sleep on the fluffy carpet with me. Let her taste the floor sleeping life for once. That's what she gets for not giving me a real bed. And if she got mad later, I had the perfect excuse ready. When I woke up, I felt a heavy weight on my chest. I opened my eyes, and oh boy, she was clinging to me like a koala, literally using me as a giant plushie. Her face buried right in my chest. In that moment, a super weird, fuzzy feeling popped up. Wow, she's actually pretty adorable. Later that day when she woke up, she pinched my cheek and demanded to know why I didn't put her in bed and made her sleep all night on the hard floor. "But the carpet is super thick," I protested. After I said that, she paused and gave me a funny look. Guess she realized the floor wasn't exactly a 5-star experience. I totally thought I was finally getting my own cool room, but nope. She had the staff bring a squishy single bed right into her giant room. Plenty of space, so it fit perfectly. "You stay in my line of sight," she declared, "even when we're catching Z's." She changed, but also didn't change at all. At home, I was still her exclusive doll. But at school, I had total freedom like a normal kid. I made awesome new friends, joined all sorts of fun activities, and she never ever stopped me. This taste of freedom made me start dreaming big about my own future. I soaked up knowledge like a sponge, learned cool new skills, prepping for the day I could be totally independent and start a brand new life while I was living it up. She got super duper busy. Barely saw her on campus. Even at home, I only heard her sneaking late at night. But no matter how late she got back, I could always feel her standing by my bed, giving me that intense stare. She's a total business genius, already taking the reins of the Sue group. That's her big ambition, and I was just happy to be free without her watching my every move. I started hanging out with other girls, especially this one sweet girl who'd been hanging around me since day one. She was really pretty, maybe not flawlessly anime perfect like Sue Ruo, but her eyes and smile were so warm. With her, I felt totally cared for and loved for the first time. Zhang Li and I talked about everything. We ate together, strolled around campus, became super close buddies. She even dropped some super obvious hints, but I was too chicken to make a move, because I was still secretly in Sue Ruo's clutches. So I had to keep Zhang Li in the bestie zone. Sue Ruo had nitrogen monoxide idea about this. Right now, she was probably swimming in paperwork at the office. The freedom she gave me made me so happy. Until one day, she vanished from the house. Didn't say where she went. Boss ladies don't report to anyone. Duh. The next time I saw her, right on the school track. At the time, Zhang Li and I were having our usual chill walk. A cute little leaf landed on my head, and she tiptoed to pluck it off, giggling while fixing my hair. But out of the corner of my eye, a terrifyingly familiar face. Sue Ruo was standing right there, shooting icicles from her eyes, with that signature, creepy little smirk. Every time she gets mad, that's the exact face she makes. All my hidden fears came rushing back like a tidal wave. I wanted to moonwalk out of there fast, but before I could blink, she zoomed right over, still glaring with those frosty eyes. That smirk reminded me of the spooky doll when she made me taste her spooky blood. I started shivering like a leaf. Oh yeah, she was fuming. Someone dared to play with her doll. To the princess, I'm her exclusive property. But Zhang Li had no clue. Seeing scary girl approach, she bravely stepped in front of me. "What do you want?" Zhang Li demanded, full of protective energy. Slowly shifted her gaze to her, eyes full of unreadable, stormy emotions, and a frosty little sneer on her lips. "He is mine," Sue Ruo stated coldly. Zhang Li frowned, glanced at me, and bravely shot back. "He belongs to himself, not anyone's toy." Sue Ruo actually let out a spooky laugh. She grabbed my arm with an iron grip. "Ouch, that kinda hurt. Wanna know why he's mine?" She taunted Zhang Li, flashing a totally emotionless smile. Being her personal doll for 3 years was a secret I would never tell. So I quickly scurried over to Sue Ruo's side, giving Zhang Li a super apologetic look. Zhang Li looked so confused. I gave a tiny shake of my head, mouthing, "I'm okay." Sue Ruo huffed, face like a thundercloud, and dragged me home. She didn't lock me in the spooky room. Instead, she brought out a scary little whip, made me kneel on the chilly floor in my dress. She lifted my chin with her toe, looking at me like I was a naughty bug. I thought since she grew up, she'd be totally normal now. At least less quirky. Nope, just a very pretty disguise. Inside this mansion, she's her true, wild self. Asterisk crack. Asterisk, the whip hit the floor next to my skin. Freeze, move again, and who knows where this will land. She smirked, looking at me. with that classic doll owner gaze. I zipped my lips tight, just shaking like a bowl of jelly. "Are you two dating?" she interrogated. I shook my head
"No
vigorously.
way.
Asterisk smack. Asterisk my leg caught. I let out a cartoonish yelp. "So you wanted to date her?" Her spooky voice echoed, sounding like she didn't care if I went poof. I didn't dare admit it, terrified she'd get mad and snip something off. She scoffed and gave me a little kick. "Good. Remember, you're my exclusive property. Grown-up Ruo Wei is way more intense than Kid Ruo Wei." Her possessiveness leveled up. Since I'm her doll, just how much would she tolerate? A crazy idea popped into my head. Where did I get the guts? I suddenly lunged right at her. She was totally shook by my surprise attack. Her face went from icy to completely shocked. I pinned her on the sofa and planted a huge smooch right on her, my very first kiss. Super clumsy, but full of drama. I forgot everything for a sec. Just a chaotic, dramatic smooch, but plot twist. She didn't dodge or blast me into orbit. She just let me kiss her until my panic took over and I stopped my silly stunt. But her expression barely changed. Still looking cool as a cucumber, she just stared at me and slowly broke into a wicked little grin. I bolted back to my room in a flash. She came to bed super late, showered, and hopped right into bed, totally ignoring me the whole time. Was she not mad about my wild stunt? Well, I didn't get tossed in the spooky room, but my school days were paused, locked inside the giant mansion again. She was the only human I saw. Goodbye, sweet freedom. 3 years of hard work for nothing. I was so bummed. Another rainy day. She came home, ignored me, and went straight to the shower. When she popped out, I was waiting like a good boy with warm milk, just waiting there. "What, do you miss milk showers?" She gave me a super mischievous look. A terrifying flashback hit me. I shivered big time. Once we went for afternoon tea, and some girls in Lolita dresses pulled me in for selfies. When we got home, she slowly poured ice-cold right over my head. So sticky and cold. I took a deep breath and squeaked, "Can I pretty please go back to school?" She strolled over with a smirk, lifted my chin, and chuckled, "Wanna study? Or wanna play with girls?" My eyes darted away. She pinched my cheek, squeezing harder until I almost shed a tear. And she finally let go, sighing dramatically. "Oh, my cute little doll. If only you were a good listener. Fine, back to school you go." But make it crystal clear to her, no more hanging out. She delivered the cold, hard boss orders, and I just nodded obediently. Just nodded. Freedom was the ultimate prize. Just as I was leaving, I turned around and she planted a fierce kiss on me. I tried to wiggle free, but she's surprisingly strong. We tumbled onto the bed. She kissed me like crazy. Pouring rain outside, but inside, it was pure drama. Just a wild, chaotic moment in the island mansion. Later, she brought me back to campus, with her watching like a hawk. I broke the news to Zhang Li. Honestly, in my heart, Zhang Li was the absolute best. Warm and sweet, polite, respectful, and smart. Most importantly, being with her felt like being truly loved. She was a pure angel. While Su Ruowei was a spicy little demon. Zhang Li, we shouldn't hang out anymore. Saying those words felt like a bunch of tiny needle pokes. I thought she'd blow up, call me a joke for being controlled by a girl. But she didn't. She just flashed that warm, sunny smile and gave my head a gentle pat. "Shen Yan, just be yourself." Her eyes were literally smiling. She clapped her hands together and sincerely said, I hope you find happiness every day and live the life you truly want. My emotional dam broke. Tears just started flowing. I wobbled out, Zhang Li. Thank you. She smiled, shook her head, and stepped out of my world for good. Is she prettier than me? Suruo Wei popped up out of nowhere with that classic cold sneer. I actually laughed out of frustration. Suruo Wei, some things aren't about being pretty. Besides, she was super pretty. Suruo Wei's face went instantly dark. Her glare gave me the shivers. She slowly backed me, right, nowhere to run. Shen Yan, why are you so clueless? I picked you up when you were starving on the streets, took you home, dressed you up like a beautiful doll every single day. And you go, and like someone else? She looked a little unhinged. Her pretty face totally twisted. I didn't dare look her in the eye. I flinched, and asterisk smack. Asterisk, she slapped my cheek. She patted your head twice. How dare she? Maybe I should chop her little hands off and pickle them in a jar in the doll room. How about her face said, I'm 100% serious. And she totally had the power to do it. My knees were knocking together. I was terrified for poor, innocent Zhang. Please, leave her alone, I begged, voice trembling like a leaf. Oh, you care about her that much? She giggled darkly, making my stomach do flips. She whispered in my ear, you're just my toy. Don't you dare make demands? Yep, from the day she took me in, I was just a fun little plaything, totally at her mercy. I just gotta keep her happy. If she's happy for a day, I survive for a day. She gave me a playful, triumphant smirk. Her version of happy meant dressing up in cute dresses at home, giving her smooches, and being her giant sleeping plushie. That was her perfect doll life. Time flew by like a rocket until college graduation year, still playing the role of her exclusive doll, day in, day out. During those years, she leveled up her business skills to genius mode. Once she took over the Sue Group, she ruthlessly kicked out all her relatives. Anyone who argued, gone, no survivors. Even her dad, an older brother, got the absolute boot. They yelled and called her ungrateful, a greedy wolf, trying to swallow the whole company, but she didn't bat an eyelash. Acted like they were total strangers. Yep, that's the real Suruo way for you. The first female boss to rule the Sue Empire, making history. At her big CEO celebration gala, all the VIPs were there. Tons of fancy guys asked her to dance, and she picked the absolute most powerful one. Yep, romance means nothing compared to her ambition. After taking over, she made me her personal secretary. If I annoyed her, office punishment time. Wow, it's been so many years by her side. While I was zoning out, that guy who danced with her, Mr. Joe, strutted over to me with a smug grin. Yan, don't even dream about Suruo. She'd never look twice at a nobody like you. I laughed on the inside. Everyone knows my whole nobody backstory. He clearly knew I was close with the boss. Wow, Mr. Joe, feeling a little can't even compete with a humble secretary? Let's see how he handles that. Just a little fun at the party. Who's the real winner here anyway? I shot back fearlessly. That made young Master Joe's face turn beet red. He gritted his teeth and hissed, even if I can't win her heart, a nobody like you definitely has zero chance. Always calling me a nobody, really treating me like a soft, squishy tomato. I marched right up and whispered a little secret in his ear. His face instantly twisted in pure shock. Then he grumbled and stormed right off. I smirked. All I told him was that Suruo cuddles me to sleep every single night. Can't believe he had such a huge reaction. Right after the party, suddenly, crazy rumors flew around that Suruo was getting engaged to Mr. Joe. Even I was totally shocked when I heard the gossip. One night, she was hugging me tight in bed as usual. If anyone saw us, they'd definitely think we were a super sweet married couple, but only I knew. All this time, I was still just her favorite little toy. How could someone like her ever truly love? I asked her, "Are you getting engaged to Mr. Joe?" She just hummed. I was a bit surprised and kept asking, "Doesn't he gross you out at all?" Suruowe paused and slowly said, "Gross? But he brings a ton of benefits to the table." I didn't say another word, just quietly gazed at her. She's seriously so gorgeous, whether on campus or in high society. I've never seen anyone prettier. She was my saving grace. When I was starving on the streets, she took me in, gave me a wildly rich life, paid off all my terrifying debts, and warned everyone not to mess with me. She was the very first person to celebrate my birthday. We kissed and cuddled to sleep every night. But sadly, her twisted, I just couldn't handle it anymore. The next day, I skipped work. Just stayed home, packed up my heavy heart, and prepared to leave this mansion I'd lived in for almost 10 years. Honestly, I totally hesitated. Her love is super crazy. But she really did treat me so well. If she devoted her heart only to me, I might have gone soft and willingly stayed her doll forever. But she already decided to marry someone else. What? After she gets married? Am I supposed to just tag along like a sidekick? No way. Not happening. While I was packing my bags, my phone was blowing up with a million missed calls from her. I knew she was totally panicking with her huge project today. There was no way she could leave work early. When she finally stormed home late at night, I was already wearing her absolute favorite outfit, with a delicious dinner waiting for her. Her anger instantly melted. "Why didn't you pick up? You vanished from my sight for way too long." She didn't dish out any punishments this time, just sat at the dining table with a straight face. I smiled and poured her a glass of wine. "Today is our shared birthday. Did you totally forget?" Suruowe blinked in surprise. Ever since she took over the company, she's been wildly, uncontrollably busy. Of course our birthday completely slipped her mind. I actually forgot. Well, it's just a birthday. She looked at the feast and smiled. "Do I owe you a present?" "Of course." I shook my head and filled her glass right to the brim. Her alcohol tolerance is actually super low. The last time she came home tipsy, I heard from the grapevine she'd only had 2 tiny glasses. Suruowe, I raised my glass. Nowadays, I call her and by she her doesn't even get mad. She didn't say a word, just gently clinked her glass with mine. "I recall you don't know how to cook." She stared at me. "Want to know the secret?" I poured her another glass. "Finish this, and I'll tell you." She paused for a second, then gulped it down without any hesitation. Then she tilted her head, looking at me already getting pretty tipsy. Her pale cheeks had a cute rosy flush, her eyes getting a little hazy. "I learned it just for you." I leaned into her ear and whispered sweetly. She was so cute, I couldn't resist giving her a giggled and looked at me. "Have you fallen in love with me?" I completely froze. Did not expect her to be so direct. "Drink one more and I'll tell you." In the past, how about that? Talking to her like this would have made her absolutely furious. But hey, she was drunk today, because right after I said that, she grabbed the whole bottle of wine and started chugging. Before I could even stop her, she drank 2/3 of it. "Tell me now." Her body started swaying side to side, but she still stubbornly stared right at me, refusing to let herself fall over. I just slowly admired her cute face. Drunk Ruowe is ridiculously adorable. Ever since I carried her home that day, it felt like she really became my whole world. I leaned into her ear again and softly said, "Yes, I fell in love with you." She looked at me with puppy dog eyes. After a long pause, she asked, "Then will you stay by my side forever?" I didn't answer that, because I was leaving. I'd been plotting my grand escape for a long time. I carried her back to the bedroom and completely handcuffed her to the bedpost. I leaned down and kissed her, my hands roaming around. She couldn't move, totally at my mercy. She fuzzily asked, "What are you doing?" I didn't stop, just whispered, "Making love. This is the very last thing I need to do before my big escape." She went from resisting to wildly taking over. The next morning when I woke up, Ruowe was still fast asleep, a sweet blush still on her face. I grabbed my luggage and left that mansion for good. The sun was shining bright today, warming my face so nicely. Over the years, I secretly saved up enough cash and stashed it in a secret account only I know about. By the time Su Ruowei wakes up, she'll never, ever find me. 6 months later, I'm chilling on a foreign beach. Scrolling my phone, I see the news. Su Ruowei handed the Su group over to her brother. I could totally tell her brother was just a puppet. And she never got engaged to anyone. But hey, none of my business anymore. These past 6 months, I've been living the absolute dream life with my cash. Nobody here knows who I am. Even got myself a brand new fake ID. But just as I put my phone down and picked up my soda for a sip, a super familiar female voice whispered right behind me. Is my news interesting? My little doll, your video is super fun. Next time I see you, I'll definitely toss you some coins. No, no, no. No need for coins. Good thing you didn't. If you drop coins, I'll hold you up for a lifetime. Then on hitting exit, will we meet again? We definitely will. You have to be happy, okay? Be how? You have to hit like. You gotta toss some coins. Pretty please drop a like? Toss some coins and swipe to the next video. Your iceberg won't see me anymore. It's okay. You can go tip someone else. Be how? Be how? Be how? Why did you betray me? How do I live now? Be how? You iceberg. Come possess me. Ah. Ah.